My name is Dominic Churko, and this is my presentation on changing the standard of food and regulations. So, I did my research on different foods and different food additives that they are very commonly adding, to our food that we eat every day, fast food, in the grocery stores. Anywhere you can find food, you can find these additives that are turning out as we do more research are very, very harmful and, cause a lot of health problems in the future if continue to eat these unhealthy foods. So, this is prepared for Martin Makary, the FDA commissioner. So, the federal or the Food and Drug Administration, who they basically, you know, decide what's allowed to be put in our food and what's not, what is banned, what is legal. And the other person this is prepared for is Jay Bhattacharya. Um, Sorry if I butchered that, but this is the head of the National Institute of Health. And then William Dutz also works at the FDA. So hopefully, contacting these people in high up positions could hopefully open their eyes. I know there's a lot of regulations and a lot of laws and whatnot, but hopefully it will open their eyes to see that poisoning Americans is not the best course of action. So, and this is prepared by me, Dahmer Churko, but I'm a researcher currently, and the date is April 21st. So, for an executive summary of this as a whole, the goal of this study and research is to figure out what products and additives are in our food that we eat every day, and figure out why they're in our food, the harmful side effects possibly, depending, how the toxicity, what kind of, and just gathering all different types of studies on these different additives. So some additives are preservatives like BHT. There's other ones. A lot of them are flavors. A lot of natural flavors are actually harmful chemicals that could be poisoning us. And yeah, so a lot of ingredients are banned in other countries, but for some reason in the United States they are not banned, and it's very sad to see that because of, I don't know exactly why, but I'm assuming it's corporate greed that instead of spending more money and following, a healthier example like foods in the UK, we choose to use cheaper, more harmful chemicals to, keep our food fresh and keep the shelf life longer. Where other countries, they, these chemicals, additives are banned. So yeah, they go bad faster, but they have to take the hit on the spending the money on more expensive, healthier ingredients rather than poisoning Americans. So I think this is very important. This is extremely important for the success and the health of America. I think that with the different stats and statistics that have come out, that it is very, I don't know. The United States is a very unhealthy country right now. I believe so, at least food wise. And I think that we can make a change in contacting these people and spreading this information will hopefully open their eyes to the fact that we are poisoning ourselves. So the purpose of the study is to figure out why Americans are dying of obesity, diabetes, heart attacks, heart health. Dementia is one of the biggest ones, and that has recently been found to be linked to, it is a form of diabetes. So that is an amazing discovery that the food that we eat has lasting effects on our health. So, yeah, most of these chemicals have very serious health side effects that are affecting people every single day. Like all the fast food restaurant chains, they put tons of preservatives and chemicals and a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that they can make the most money possible. And as you can see, obesity rates in America are skyrocketing. People are, that is one of the number one killers. I thought it was going to be like car crashes of Americans, of killers of Americans, but it turns out it's our food and these corporate companies, these franchises, they're you know taking a little extra money in their pocket instead of trying to look out for the well-being of Americans. And this is really has to do with public health and safety. If we aren't from the source, you know, if our government isn't trying to look after us and make us healthy as a whole, then I have to take things into our own hands, and that's the reason of this research. So hopefully we can make a change. And so the scope of the study is one group will eat we will eat the same two we'll have two groups. One group will eat uh the same they're gonna eat the same thing, but one group will have all these different additives, preservatives like BHT, some flavoring, red coloring, and different stuff. The other group will only eat the natural, healthier ingredients, and we are going to do tests on their mood, their attention to details, and health impacts, because a lot of these ingredients have been shown to lead to mental health issues, which can lead to physical health issues and many other things. So doing this study and seeing the difference on the food that we eat and how it makes us feel and affects our health will be astronomical to proving this point, hopefully. As you can see in this ingredients list, I'm pretty I'm very sure this is for cereal. They love adding vitamins and minerals to make it look healthier. But the main ingredients are, you know, these soybean oils and natural artificial flavors, red 40, yellow 5. All of these are horrible for you, all of the research that has been done. So take into effect of how that affects our mood, attention, and health will hopefully open up eyes of corporate conglomerates and hopefully take care of this problem that's an epidemic in America. So what I've found is that um, common additives cause tons of health problems like indigestive problems. I'm sure we've all dealt with that after getting some Taco Bell. Mood disturbances. I know we've all eaten some fast food, gone out to eat, all you can eat buffet, and you're just knocked out. You're done. You can't work, can't focus. You're just tired, and that happens a lot with these, you know, chemicals being added like Red 40 and a lot of other things. And they've also found that some of these ingredients are causations of attention disorders, like Red 40, for example. This has been shown through many studies, and yeah, it's really horrible that this is so common in our food today. And what I found is that the poisoning of Americans is coming right from America itself, the United States. The FDA regulations, they allow all of these things to be put in our food on high levels, so that affects our health. And it's really sad to see what this world has come to. But you know, they might take hush money from these big companies that allow these different additives to be put in our food, so they can make more money. They make more money. They probably pay the FDA more money, and Yeah, it is really sad to see how our own government and our own health organizations will allow such horrible, harmful chemicals and additives. It is really sad. So, recommendations is consider healthy foods. You know, it's going to cost a lot of money, but these giant corporations make tons of money off of us all the time. It would not be that hard to replace some of these harmful additives like BHT and Red 40 and artificial sweeteners with healthier options. They might end up losing more money in the end, but the health of Americans is, I think, should be the most important thing. And we need to do that by implementing stricter regulations. The FDA needs to up their game. They need to follow what the other countries around us have been doing and banning these harmful products. And yeah, I think doing what I'm doing now is also helping, hopefully, increasing consumer awareness about the risks. They have them labeled, but you have to do your own research to figure out how bad these are for you and how long term consuming of these dangerous chemicals can result in attention disorders, mood disorders, eating disorders, a whole you know whole list of terrible things that can happen. So letting people know, and maybe putting it on a box, putting it on the box. If people are eating unhealthy things, that's their choice. But at least it's our responsibility to let people know that these are going to cause health problems if you can continue to consume at high rates and high levels. That it'll catch up to you. And in conclusion, stricter regulations uh, could reduce health risks associated with food regulations, and there is an urgent need to reevaluate approval process for these food additives, and hopefully we can ban these terrible chemicals that are plaguing our country as a whole, and we can follow in other countries' footsteps, like the UK, for example, and many of their ingredients that are allowed over here in the United States are not allowed in many other countries like the UK and Canada. So hopefully this message and study and research will, provide some clarity to our government and our administrations, especially the food administrations, to, you know, hopefully, yeah, hopefully make a change. So thank you so much for watching. This is Dominic Trico, and I hope you have a great day and a great Easter. Thank you. Bye.